Welcome to Trade Talk for Week 6 of the 2019 Fantasy Football Season. I am Ben, and with me as always is Maddie Nice. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. Leave a comment below about some trade scenarios, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. But let's go on with the show. Matt, who are some players that you're looking to target this week for trades?
Target or sell, or either.
Either way, buy or sell.
Okay. One player that I'm looking at here using the trade chart that we have here from CBS is Mark Ingram. I'm going to talk about. He's at number 20. He's ranked number 23 here.
So that's his trade value. It's higher the better.
Yeah. And he is above he's tied with Derrick Henry, but he's above Melvin Gordon.
Melvin Gordon is definitely somebody I'm interested in because I could definitely see his value going up to the 30s. So this is a nice buy low opportunity for Melvin Gordon.
Aaron Jones for me. I would take Aaron Jones. Connor, Fournette, Mixon, Carry-On, Carson.
Is that about where it ends?
That's about where it ends, but that's
Okay.
still like 7 running backs.
Yeah,
I'd rather
so
have.
the running backs you listed there. Did you say Todd Gurley?
Gurley is there. I'd have Ingram above Gurley.
Okay, so rather have over Mark Ingram for Matt is Aaron Jones, James Conner, Leonard Fournette, Joe Mixon, Kerryon Johnson, and Chris Carson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Melvin Gordon.
And Melvin Gordon. I'll cut out James Conner. Not high on James Conner at the moment. So I would rather have Ingram over Conner. But I'll agree with the rest. And I would take Todd Gurley over Mark Ingram.
That's just risky at the end of the year there.
It is, but I also don't think Mark Ingram's going to make it to the end of the year. That's my thought process on that is if neither guy makes it, I'll take the one who's probably going to be better until then. Okay, I have quite a list of players that I'm interested in buying, and I got some trade scenarios set up, and you can answer which side you like better.
Okay.
So players that I'm interested in buying this week, Aaron Rodgers, ranked at a 9. David Montgomery, who has a value of 8. Melvin Gordon, that we just mentioned, who has a value of 22. And Sony Michel, who has a value of 11. Some sells for me. DJ Chark, who we've talked about several times. Value of 14, just keeps going up.
Mm-hmm.
It is time to cash in on DJ Chark. Number 2, Terry McLaurin, wide receiver for Washington, is an 8. Quarterback Deshaun Watson, who just think he's going to get hurt, so I'm always talking about selling him. He's at a 19. Our good friend Tyler Lockett is up to 20 from 18 last week. And Cooper Kupp just keeps getting it done. Is up to 29. Devonta Freeman, who we mentioned on the podcast on Sunday, is at a 13. James Conner, that we were just talking about, who I didn't like over Ingram, is at a 17. And this is your weekly reminder to sell Dalvin Cook, whose value is now at a 43. So here's some trade scenarios for Rodgers that include some of the other players. You let me know which side you prefer. Okay. Carson Wentz.
And this is PPR or standard?
This is going to be standard.
Okay.
Carson Wentz, DJ Chark, for Aaron Rodgers and Kenny Golladay.
Aaron Rodgers and Kenny Golladay, that's pretty easy.
Based on the trade chart, they are of equal value. Combined value of 26.
That really isn't even close.
Number 2,
yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Leonard Fournette, for Deshaun Watson and James Conner.
Rodgers and Fournette for Connor and Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
That's pretty close. I would take Rodgers and Fournette, but it's not a huge gap.
So based on the score, Watson and Conner are 2 points more valuable. If you were to swap in Devonta Freeman for James Conner, the value would be 2 points less. So it would flip the other way. So it would be a 4-point swing. Third one and final one for Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers and Tyler Boyd for Russell Wilson and Terry McLaurin.
Aaron Rodgers and Tyler Boyd.
There is a difference of 3 points, saying that Russell Wilson and Terry McLaurin are worth 3 points more than the other two combined.
That's overvaluing Russ too much, honestly.
Russ, another sell candidate. Also note here that Dak has the same value as Russell Wilson, so he could be put in there. The trade could also be done with Tom Brady and Matt Ryan in place of Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Moving on here, I have a running back trade scenario. So this is 2 running backs for 2 running backs, Matt. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Devonta Freeman and Aaron Jones for Chris Carson and Melvin Gordon.
Carson and Gordon.
The value is equal based on the CBS Trade Chart. Link to the trade chart is going to be in the description. So if you want to check that out, make sure you click on that.
Like that's pretty wild, actually.
Yeah. It's a high value for Aaron Jones. He's at 32, whereas Carson and Melvin Gordon are 23 and 22, and then Freeman's at 13. So I think Aaron Jones, that recency bias with that 4-touchdown game is really coming into play there, because I don't see him being that much higher than Chris Carson and Melvin Gordon. Okay, moving on to a fun wide receiver trade scenario. So before we start this one, I'm going to tell you that the values are identical for both sides. Pick a winner. Cooper Kupp and Chris Godwin for Amari Cooper or DeAndre Hopkins.
That's a real one.
That is a real one.
That's D-Hop and Cooper.
Cooper Kupp is...
D-Hop and...
Cooper.
Amari Cooper. Yeah, I'm thinking Cooper Kupp.
If you don't like Cooper, you can have Julio Jones and the value remains the same.
Yeah, okay.
Cooper Kupp valued at 29, and Godwin is up to 27. DeAndre Hopkins below everyone on this list at 26, and Amari Cooper above everybody on this list at 30. I got a couple more wide receiver trades, and then we'll go back to you with some players you're looking to trade. This is another wide receiver one. So the second side of this is worth 3 points more, and this will probably be good for a laugh. Mike Evans and Davante Adams, or Cooper Kupp and Tyler Lockett.
Mike Evans and Davante Adams.
Again, Cooper Kupp's value out of 29 is a big sell right now. He's good, but Mike Evans and Davante Adams are better, and they're valued 6 points lower than him. And Tyler Lockett just keeps climbing up. He's out of 20. So that side is actually favored. Last one, two guys who are really having a bad time, Odell Beckham and Juju Smith-Schuster, or Tyler Boyd and Davante Adams.
Odell and Juju for Adams and who?
Boyd. And if you prefer to have Mike Evans instead of Adams, you can swap that in.
No, I definitely prefer Adams over Evans. I'm going to go... That's pretty close, because I think Adams is going to be really good when he gets back. I'm going to go Adams.
Adams and Boyd. They're valued 1 point higher here. That's all I have. So we talked about some players that I want to sell and some scenarios. You really shouldn't be looking to do a 1-for-1, so 2-for-2s work a lot better, and that's why they're on this list. Matt, who's somebody else that you're interested in either buying or selling this week?
Based off the chart here, we pick on this guy a lot. T.Y. Hilton, ranked at 19. Even Lockett can go in the same conversation. I'm still taking Beckham, Galladay, Thielen. Thielen. I'll still take Brandon Cooks over them.
Really? Where's Brandon Cooks? Oh, Brandon Cooks is 16, up there, 17.
Yeah.
So he's not far behind.
No, he's not. But, I mean, out of 1-for-1 for any of those guys, I would definitely do that. I don't know. Do you disagree with any of that?
No. I'm on board with selling on both Lockett and Hilton. Hilton's played really well, surprisingly. Lockett, as we mentioned last week in Trade Talk, his value to me is kind of going to keep going up a little bit. But I'm happy to sell at this value of 20 and happily take Odell Beckham or Thielen or Kenny Galladay. Cooks, I'll take Cooks over Lockett, but not over Hilton. I'm quite worried about Cooks. That's about it.
Safer. Yeah. And then how about Dalvin Cook? Speaking of Cooks, I know you kind of touched on that earlier.
Yeah, it's a weekly reminder of his value being so high that...
he's above Saquon, Zeke, Kamara. I take all three of those guys over him.
In standard, I'll take him over Kamara. Not in PPR, though.
He's ranked above him in PPR, too. All three of those guys.
Yeah. His value's a 43 and a 46 in PPR. What about some tight ends, Matt? Anybody you see there that's value stands out? And for the second week in a row, I'm sure O.J. Howard is not on the list.
No, he's not. Someone else that's not on the list that is practicing now in a limited form is Hunter Henry. He's going to be probably back in the next week or two. I've liked him since before the season. Mm-hmm. I would take him over... I mean, maybe not over necessarily any of these guys right away, but, I mean, Greg Olsen anyway.
Yeah, Greg Olsen's the only name that really stands out here that doesn't look like it belongs on this list. At a 7, Darren Waller at an 8, Andrews and Hooper at a 9. Disley at an 11 to me seems high. Like, I would rather have Mark Andrews than Will Disley rest of season. So I'd happily make that trade. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. And even Waller for me. I would take him over Disley. Hooper in a PPR.
Hooper in a PPR for sure, not in a standard. But Hooper has played well this year so far. We briefly talked about the quarterbacks, and I kind of mentioned all of them. Rodgers at 9 was a huge buy candidate for me. I'd happily trade him straight up for Tom Brady. I'd rather have Rodgers rest of the season than Brady, and there's a 6-point gap there, so they can get you a player worth 6 points higher somewhere else. Tom Brady still has that name value, so people would probably value him higher than Aaron Rodgers based on how well they played this year. Matt, any other players that you want to talk about for trade talk of this week?
For this week, I think that's it for this week.
All right. That's going to do it. Matt, anything to add?
Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Hopefully you're doing both.
That's it.